What does it mean to actually be stuck in a rut? According to dictionary.com, it's to be in a settled or established habit or course of action, especially a boring one. When I read that, I just think that most people have to be settled into their habits. You know, we wake up early, we go to work, we come home, maybe work out, see a friend, make dinner, go to bed, and repeat. While we all go through periods of time where we feel more down, a lot of the time we're just bored of our routines. I used to resent my routines because they felt like obligations. It wasn't until I shifted my mindset from I have to do this to I get to do this when I really started appreciating my everyday habits and the simplicity of my life. Instead of labeling myself as being in a rut, I gave myself the freedom to enjoy my routines. I incorporated habits that brought me joy instead of dwelling in fixed mindset patterns that brought me down. I learned to love mundane things that I used to take for granted. These are things that help me get out of a rut and help me learn to love living a simple life. I'm not someone who believes in just covering up emotions with things like working out or baking or cleaning your apartment. Like, those things are very helpful if you're just kind of in a slump, but if you're actually feeling things, I think it's really important to go to therapy, talk to someone, and work through those things, because I know firsthand that just doing all the self-care things doesn't actually get you out of a rut if it's more than a rut. But there are times when I catch myself just being in really negative thought patterns when things just really aren't that big of a deal. And so these are just a few things that really do help me, and they're things that are doable. They're not things that are out of the ordinary, but when they are a part of my routine, the key word being routine because they're happening quite often, I find myself preventing future ruts, but also just getting out of one if I'm in one. The first one is something that I've done in the past month, and that is just waking up at the same time every day. I used to wake up later some days, earlier some days. I'd wake up at 6 one day and then 7:30, but after just waking up routinely at the same time every single morning, I find myself just being together more. I don't have things that are all scattered. I don't feel like my day is just moving faster than I am, and I feel like I can actually take the time to enjoy all these small things, enjoy all these moments, and get things done because I'm waking up at the same time every day. And for me, that's 7. I think 7 a.m. is just the perfect amount of time. I don't have a crazy schedule, but with doing YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and a podcast, there's just a lot going on. And so I find myself waking up at 7 and actually getting things done. I have to spend my morning time with God. I have to read my Bible. I have to journal. And that could literally just be 10 minutes. And it used to be this thing that I thought was kind of extra, but the older I get, the more I realize that I need that time to just sit and to pray and strengthen my relationship with God and get right with Him. And that is something that I try to do every single morning because it really does help. I can do a whole video on my quiet time if you guys would like to see that, but I'm doing this devotional called Emergency Rations right now, and I love it, especially if you're going through a hard time. I think it's great. I'll read my Bible too. I'll do my 5-minute journal to express gratitude. One of my favorite books that I read in the past year that I wanted to share a little bit from, it's called Gentle and Lowly. And this quote says, "Whatever is crumbling all around you in your life, whenever you feel stuck, this remains undeflectable. His heart for you, the real you, is gentle and lowly. So go to Him. That place in your life where you feel most defeated, He is there. He lives there, right there, and His heart for you, not on the other side of it, but in that darkness, is gentle and lowly. Your anguish is His home. Go to Him. If you knew His heart, you would." And I think especially if you're going through a hard time, just having that quiet time in the morning. Again, if you don't have a religious faith, that could be, just expressing gratitude in the morning, being thankful. But I know for me, my relationship with God is honestly always just the rock of my life. Exercising is another one of those things that I used to think was kind of an extra thing, but having some form of exercise every day, I mean, having a rest day every now and then, but even if that's just a walk, endorphins really do help so much. But especially in the past year, I've just realized how much health is something that we take for granted, and I want to be the healthiest version of me that I can be. And I was actually talking to one of our Uber drivers when we were in New York, and he was talking about how you don't think about health until you're older and it actually matters more, when we really should be thinking about it when we're younger, when we're in our 20s. And I think that's one of those things that often gets put on the back burner when work is important and all those other things, but getting that workout in, getting that exercise is so important and can definitely help a lot. Taking care of something, and when I say this, I mean, we have our dog Cash, who I love. He's a big part of my videos, so you guys probably already know him, but there's something about when you give yourself to something else and you get your mind off of yourself, it really does make you feel a lot better. And this could be even taking care of plants, seeing your plants grow. This could be having actual children, which I'm sure is next level. I don't even think taking care of a dog or a plant is the same as children, but I do think that while those things can be time consuming, they really do make you feel more whole as a person when your energy is spent elsewhere and not just on yourself. I did a podcast on kind of like this idea of self-care and self-love and why sometimes I think it leads us astray, that message, which I think is really important, making sure that you are right with yourself. But sometimes when you're focusing so much on your own worries, you forget that there are other people to take care of, and that can actually make you feel a lot more fulfilled, like this little puppy right here who can never leave me alone, but I do love it a lot. Listening to music instead of podcasts. So I've talked about this one a bit, but there are so many things out there for us to consume. I think sometimes it's important to figure out what those thoughts are in your own mind. And I find myself being in a rut when I'm so scattered and there's so many different things going on in my brain. Obviously, staying informed is really important and learning about new things. Like, I love podcasts, but having time just to listen to music or be in silence is super helpful. I recently started listening to a lot of worship lofi music that's just really chill and calming, and I love it. I'll have the playlist I've been listening to down below. It's just the best, and I've been trying to do my chores around the house. I've been trying to commute more when I go places, listening to that instead of turning on a podcast. Cleaning my space. Cleaning is so important for me. Having a space that just is clutter-free, that is only filled with things that I really love, and taking care of it. Again, should be so thankful and grateful to have even a space, a roof over your head. And so that is why I take a lot of pride in taking care of our home and sharing that online, because I'm just so thankful for it. And I love the space. It's been so good to us. And I really do think it's cheesy, but Marie Kondo's idea of, thanking things for bringing you joy and thanking God for allowing you to have these things is an important thing you can do while you're tidying up, cleaning, and just feeling a bit more at peace. Spending time outside, we all know, is so good for us, but I've been trying to do this every single day. Walk Cash, take him to the dog park, go on a walk with Aiden, and just enjoy the outdoors, because it makes you feel so much better. The other day, I was just having not a great day, didn't have a great morning, spontaneously went on a long walk and felt so much better after. And I can just say that I don't know scientifically why this is. It's probably something to do with vitamin D. I looked it up, and it says sitting outside can reduce blood pressure, lower heart rate, and decrease cortisol levels. So that is probably why you feel a lot better when you're outside. Cooking new meals. I love cooking, and this doesn't even have to be cooking. You could bake something new. There's something about when you switch up what you're eating can definitely get you out of a rut, can make you feel a lot better. And I know when I'm just not really having a lot to look forward to, getting to make a new meal at night is so simple. Putting together all these ingredients and making something really yummy. That's why I love cooking. That's why I do all of our cooking, because I enjoy it so much. And it's something that I like to switch up when I'm feeling a little bit in a rut. Pressing into relationships. I think we all know this too, but I used to have a tendency to retreat when I was feeling down, when I was feeling sad. It feels so good just to open up to someone routinely, to make sure that you're actually letting people into your life. We're not meant to live our lives alone. We're meant to be in community. And if you're feeling super down, go to that friend you can talk to, go to a spouse, go to a random person at Trader Joe's who's bagging your groceries, because I know that they can be really friendly too. Just talk to people. It really does make you feel a lot better. Rearranging furniture. We did this recently. I did a whole video on like simple ways to refresh your home without buying a ton. And that helps so much, just feeling more inspired in your space because you moved the couch a certain way, you moved your desk, you're looking at something different when you're working. Simple changes really can improve your mood in your space. And again, it makes you feel like you have a new place. If you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't really love where I live, I don't love my apartment, try switching things up, because I really feel like it can help you feel just more inspired. Starting a new book. This is another one that I've been pretty bad at reading lately. I've just had a lot going on, and so reading hasn't been at the top of my priority list, but I know when it is, I'm so much happier when I'm reading a book, especially before bed. We've been either watching old movies before bed, so we just watched both the Cheaper by the Dozen movies, or I will try to read my book before bed. I'm reading this one that's like a mystery right now. I have it on the screen. It's called Wonder Test, I think. My friend Melissa lent it to me, but it really calms you down just getting off your phone before bed. I know that that can make me feel insecure, can make me feel like I'm struggling with comparison more when I'm just scrolling before I go to sleep at night. Trying a new coffee shop. I did this recently. I'm someone who kind of sticks to my same places. I'm very much a creature of habit. I'm not really a spontaneous person. That's why I think I'm such a homebody. But the other day I just went on my way to go to La La Land, which is a coffee shop in Dallas. Super cute, has all this yellow branding. And it was just nice. It was nice to see new baristas and try a new coffee. I think I got like a pumpkin latte or something, and it was delicious. And that was just so nice, and can really switch up your routine when you're not just sticking to the same places, or if you go to lunch a certain place all the time, you know, switch up where you get lunch. Express gratitude daily. I remember in college I took a class where we had this semester where we'd write down 3 things every single morning that we were grateful for. And it's amazing how much your mood improves when you're actually routinely, again, expressing gratitude for the things in your life. And this is why I talk so much about just enjoying the simplicity of life, because there are so many things to be grateful for, even when you feel like everyone else has things that you don't. Things that I'm constantly expressing gratitude for: the fact that I'm able to have a job, that I'm able to make money with what I'm doing, that I have such a loving family who regularly checks in with me. I have parents who were just such a good model for our marriage now, who I really look up to. Still feeling like a newlywed. Like, these are all things that are so precious to me and so special, and they're things that I never want to take for granted. But in a world that's always trying to sell you things by telling you that you need more, it can be easy to lose sight of those things. And reminding yourself every single morning, at least from my experience, helps a lot when you're just feeling discontent, in a rut, wanting a change. Remember the things that are constant in your life that you often take for granted. You know what? My friend Tori Masters just posted an Instagram post about this, and so I'm gonna read it because she had a quote in it that was so good. It says, "Don't forget the answered prayers you are currently living in." And I love that, because I think that's so true. We are just so focused on going on to the next thing once we get what we want that we lose sight of, okay, I actually really wanted this life. And the last one is just to rest properly. I know that my mind is not working correctly when I am not getting at least 7 hours of sleep. 8 is probably ideal, but for me, I think I can do 7 pretty easily. So make sure that you're actually sleeping at night. I know it's hard depending on the job that you have, and I know when I am really stressed out and anxious, I don't sleep that well. I've struggled a lot with insomnia in my life, and having proper sleep and just getting to rest your mind is so important. I'm not a night owl, so this isn't really something I struggle with, but don't keep yourself up too late, or don't push yourself to wake up too early in the morning if that's going to sacrifice your sleep schedule, because that's so important for just overall mental health, and we all know that. I have found myself being in a rut more regularly than I used to, and so I was thinking about writing down just a few ways that really do help me stay out of a rut. So I really just wanted to make this video as a letter to myself to remember when I'm feeling down that these are the things to focus on. These are things that make you feel better, and these are things that ultimately can prevent you from getting into a rut if you have in place already. And I just want to say at the end of this, if you are going through a hard time, if you're struggling with discontentment, if you're feeling down, that is okay. It's okay to feel not your best all the time, but there is hope, and you don't have to stay there. And I talk about this a lot, but social media really is a highlight reel, and there are likely so many other people going through the same thing. So you're not alone, you are very loved. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. If you guys have something you think could help someone else down below, feel free to comment it. Feel free to let me know how you like to get out of a rut, what helps you, because I'm always looking for new ways, so I'd appreciate that. I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye, friends.
How will you wait for me?